Tim,
Yeah.
I thought Dave said to change the battery, not disassemble the entire car.
I'm changing the battery right now.
You're changing the battery?
Yeah. Unfortunately, there was a water tank in this tub. And
The
tub,
supercharger cooling tank.
yes, and the hoses run through the tub, and there's a lot of things in the way. A lot of things had to move and get removed in order for this to
Including the
happen.
front splitter,
Yeah.
the under tray, all of those panels, all that stuff needs to come out of this car just to get to the battery.
And
That looks like fun.
the tray still can't really come out.
Yeah, because it's like hooked on there or something with the wiring.
Yeah, there's a connector for the pump, and
So
I
they
think they put the connector on after they put everything back together.
Yeah, so you'd have to de-pin the connector
Which
to get that out. But now, whew, hey, there you are.
there's
You
a
see
hole
all the
in
way
it.
through. There's actually no floor in the front of this car. This plastic tub
It's the
is the floor.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
The
but
Aventador has like a flat pan. The Huracan does, but this car doesn't.
But the 720 is the same as this.
Yeah.
It has that plastic tank in the front. Plastic tub.
Yeah.
I guess it holds your stuff.
It's too bad it's not carbon.
Lightweight. It's probably very, very inexpensive to make. It's like those plastic tote tubs, like that you get at Home Depot or something. It's basically like that,
Yeah.
but Lamborghini.
Does it have another water pump, or is it just like they attach the coolers on?
No, so it's got a pump built into the tank here.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. We still haven't figured out how we bleed it though. So
Yeah.
there's a little spot here, so maybe we take that off and put a hose on there and slowly pour water in.
Yeah.
We'll have to hit up VF and ask them what the process is to bleed the system and make sure we get it all filled up, because it's got like 3 gallons of water in there. It filled like almost that entire bucket up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of water.
Yeah, and like with all of those coolers in like spread throughout the car, and even the water having to go into the supercharger, it's
Yeah.
a pretty high point, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
you have
all
to
the way
ride
up.
for quite a while before you think you get all the bubbles out.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'll probably hit them up to find out how they bleed it, and it's probably like an hour-long process. This is a major project. Tim's been working on this for about, I don't know, what, 2 hours, hour and a half-ish
Yeah, about 2.
now?
It's a good thing that this Gallardo is pretty reliable, because it seems like an insane headache to actually work on.
Yeah, so that's the original battery, I think.
Yeah, that battery is
Oh,
pretty
sick.
crusty. I can believe it died.
Yeah, it's time for a new one, for sure. Well, in other news, the F12 has some more parts added to it. I've got the power steering reservoir that I bought, but then modified to make it work here. I had to cut the fitting off the bottom from a dash 10 and put a dash 12 on it, and wrapped it in some gold foil there. Got the return line over here, and I've actually got the inlet line made up as well. I just haven't popped it on yet because we don't have the correct pump in there, but I've got this. So this will go on to the pump and connect it to the tank. I've also got the power, or the pressure line over here. So the pressure line goes forward to the rack, which you can't see because there's a lot of stuff jammed in there, but it is in there. It's all wrapped in the heat sleeve. So we should get a pump very soon. And then we'll put it in here. And then if everything works properly, as it should, we will have power steering for the first time in this car. So that'll be a huge improvement, because the steering in this car, like I said, it's about 3 times more difficult to turn than stock. Maybe even 4 times more, because of that point that we moved back in the steering. It is not easy at all. It is very difficult to turn at the moment, but hopefully later today, this thing will be cruising around in the block, and then we can load it up on the trailer and get ready for the dyno the day after tomorrow. I'm also going to put together a bunch of tools that we might need on the dyno.
I never like going to the dyno without some tools because I don't like using other people's tools at their shop. You don't know what they have. So we'll bring some stuff. We've got to bring a bunch of fuel. We have to bring some spare spark plugs, a new set, just in case. Yeah, we'll put together a bunch of other little bits and pieces, some hardware, hose clamps, some extra heat sleeve, some more gold tape if we see that something's getting hot. Right, Mark?
Dude, I'm with it.
Yep.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Why did you decide to keep the original Ferrari steering rack versus putting in like a motorsports or trying to find like a comparative other vehicle?
That's a good question, Mark. Well,
so what do you guys think? No, really, it's a really unique steering rack. It's very long because the chassis on this car is really wide for this V12. So the frame rail from here to here is very wide, and obviously the steering rack needs to come out from there. And if you put in a smaller steering rack in it, then you have a bump steer problem because the suspension pickup points are here, and if the tie rods are all the way over here, they move at different rates, and you get a lot of bump steer, which means as you're going over bumps, the toe is changing in and out. Also, another issue is that most steering racks don't have the steering shaft that comes from the steering wheel so far over to the frame rail. But since this is a V12 and it's so wide, they pushed it over all the way. So I couldn't find another steering rack that would actually work in here without a lot of modification. So I figured before we do all that, keep the original steering rack in it and try to make it work because that was the easiest way. Otherwise, I might actually have to build parts that screw onto another steering rack to make the shaft longer and then figure out a way to stabilize it because now you have this thing sticking out that's super long and tons of load up and down. Yeah.
Leveraged.
Exactly. So with this, we've got the tie rod that is, right over there, not much farther than these points. So we have some strength still. But if that was moved in a lot, then at every point, it would just have like the steering rack's tube sticking out and just, tons of flex in it. Not very good for steering feel.
Well, that makes sense too, especially when you see like where the shaft comes in and how close it is to the engine.
Yeah.
Because it's usually pretty close in most cars, but like if you compare it to like an LS car column or like a swap
I
column.
can get in there. It's so tight in here.
It's tiny.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's back there. It's in there.
But just believe.
Yeah, trust me when I say that it's all the way over here. So it's all the way off to the side. So we have a nice straight steering shaft there. But in most cars, it's quite a bit over. It's over like 3, 4, 5 inches.
Yeah.
And that would just make it not work.
No.
It would hit the engine, hit the alternator. Yeah.
So unfortunately, we're stuck with that very expensive factory F12 steering rack. But it's not like there's anything cheap on this car anyway.
Luckily, we have a spare.
I saw that, but I don't know if it's actually the same rack.
Oh.
But
Spare?
Yeah, I don't know.
I did look at it. I saw the box and
Let's see, pull it out of there, because I am curious to see if it is actually the same one. Is that it? No, because this one goes on from the bottom.
This seems a lot smaller.
Is this a right-hand drive rack?
No, because it's pointing up. But these are different fittings.
Chassis.
And then it bounced to the bottom. I wonder if it's a 599 or another model Ferrari rack.
I don't know. I just stole this thing out of it and put it in this one, but
Yeah, so that's like the control for how much pressure fluid it has. I guess I'll have to look up the part number and see what it is. Steering gear rack
oh yeah, this is
for a ZF. Yeah, it's different. So it's not for an F12. It looks very similar, but it is not the same rack because this one bolts in from the top down, that one bolts in from the bottom up. As you can tell by the mounting points, and obviously that one's fixed. This one probably you could be able to turn it, but that one is fixed in position. So
Interesting.
another part
in our massive amount of parts that we have on the shelves that we should sell at some point because we have zero use for them and we're just collecting tons of stuff, like all the parts from the F12 that we took off the car when we stripped it down, all of the interior, man, lots and lots and lots of bits and pieces, all the high pressure fuel pumps and that stuff, and the factory transmission, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, that,
Yeah, exactly.
oh yeah, that like $30,000 item.
Yeah, the torque tube, everything.
Yeah.
So
lots
if you
of,
at
lots
home
of bits and pieces,
have a totaled Ferrari F12,
and you need
hit
some
us
parts.
up and need everything except for the body.
Yeah,
Let
it
us
would be
know.
good actually if somebody had like a flood damaged
Yeah.
car, the
just
whole
take everything
interior
out,
and
sure.
all that stuff. Yeah, that would be good. So if you guys are looking for an F12, find a flood damaged one, and then hit us up and we can sell you some parts for much less than you'd get them anywhere else. And there's a story behind it too. You got parts from the DDE F12, so that's pretty unique.
That is unique.
You should get an F12.
I got
Mark.
nothing from the F12.
You could sell your Civic
That's true.
and put another 100 grand
Yeah.
and buy a flood damaged F12 and then spend 100 grand on parts to put it together.
There's a lot of if you looking at salvage cars is a lot of fun, and there's a lot of cars that are steals. I don't think that exotic cars usually are though, because people are onto the game.
Yeah.
Like people aren't like, hey, we're selling Gallardos for like 50 grand with the front blown off. Like they know the game now, or maybe they are, and I just don't know where to see it. Maybe they get sold before I see them.
Yeah.
It's kind of I don't know, it's a dangerous slope to buy something like that if you aren't capable of doing everything yourself and you already kind of know that car and you know where to get the parts from and you have sources. You can really like get yourself into something where you're going to pay as much as you would for a perfect clean title car, and you're going to have to put all of this work into it to try to make it work right. And sometimes you're going to be going to the dealer to buy parts because you just can't find those used parts. Yeah, it's not an easy game, that's for sure.
But I think if you're planning to take the car and you're not putting a bunch of money into it, like, hey, once I rebuild this, I'm gonna sell it, because obviously the title's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
But if you're just like, hey, I want to do this fun project with a crazy car, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
How heavy is this thing?
This thing's pretty heavy.
So what is there a date stamp on there?
I don't see one. Not yet.
Yeah, I was wondering if they actually did change it once in its life, or if this is the original from what year is this? 2013, 14?
I want to say 14. I don't see anything that would indicate a date except for the serial number.
Yeah, that's too much work. Okay. Well, it's dirty. It's been on there for a long time, and it's time for a new one.
Well, the 599 is here, and we are ready to steal some parts off of it. I was a little bit kind of, feeling bad about it. We're gonna rob parts off this car to put on the F12, but then I remembered that Dave stole the wheels off of Damon's F12 to put on his car, so I don't really feel bad about it anymore. So we'll just steal the power steering pump out of this car to put on the F12. So actually, the wheels cost a lot more than the pump, so Dave still made out in the end. But he can't drive the car now because the power steering pump is gonna be gone. All right, Dave, so I stole the pump out of your car.
Is this the factory one?
Yes, that's the factory
This little
599.
bitch ass pump's placing this big mean scary one?
Yes.
No wonder they fail. Look how small it is, dude.
Yeah, I know, it's
This
micro.
little bitch ass power steering pump. That's pathetic. Look at this little bitch ass power steering pump. Dude, it's even tagged. Little bitch ass
Yeah,
pump.
it says that from the factory.
That is crazy. It's an Italian that converted it for us. How much was this, by the way?
$500
Brand new?
used. They just sprayed it off with some brake cleaner.
Where'd you find this bitch?
I found that on eBay, where I find all the good Ferrari parts.
So we're under the department. Little bitch ass pump. And how much is this big dick pump right here?
That's like $2,000.
So we don't need
so good.
we don't need this electric one because we have this little Tim-sized power steering pump. Whoa!
Yes. So if you drive the car hard with that pump, you remember what happened to the other two
Babe,
pumps.
he's just a friend. I don't know if you should hang out with him. I'm just a friend, bro. You have nothing to worry about. You got something to worry about. Yeah, especially when half that pump's blocked.
What about that dirty pump right there?
Yeah, hey, I want to watch. I want to watch. Jeez, it gets dark on these videos sometimes quick. You're gonna die, young boy. What? All right, get him in the middle. Apple Tower.
And that's enough of that. So we're going to end this there. I'm going to put that pump in the car, put some fluid in it.
Dave, are you still going at it?
It's actually, it wasn't even focused when I flipped it around.
Bleep some of that out.
Oh, man. That's why we don't get a lot done around here when
The boys are in
when
town.
the boys are here. It's always a good time, though.
Tim, the squadron fixed? Stop getting distracted.
I'm distracted.
Why?
Who's distracted? Why are you distracted? Why are you so distracted, Tim? Why are you distracted, Tim? You got some hot dogs.
Hey, Tim's not a little power steering pump, guys. Leave him alone.
Tim, take your tool bag and get back to work.
You're, well, I was going to say, are you ready to get your hands dirty? But you're putting gloves on.
All right, Tim.
Yeah.
Time for the annual medical inspection here at DD. Yeah. We include benefits.
What do you want, 530? 540? 30
40 weight? Mike, how do we get a rain lamp for this thing? Because it's embarrassing when I go to local car clubs. And cars
Okay,
and
so
coffee.
Dave, what you got to do is you get on your computer,
I've looked. I can't find
you order it.
I can't find it.
You can't find it.
Not for this one because it's a hexagon. I want to period correct.
Oh, you're trying to find the original one.
I want to have the one from this
From
car.
this car.
Yeah, I can't find it.
I have an idea for you. Because he won't need it, if you're really nice and you call up Houston, you could take the real Lamborghini Hexagon one that was on the Tire Slayer. Because it's
It's different size. It's too big. Where it looks.
Oh yeah, you're fucked.
Oh, well, shit out of luck, Dave.
Yes, that's what you want to hit. So pull it like this. Yeah. And then, but not too much. Don't want to knock my finger off. Go a little more.
Mike wants to keep his fingers.
I'd like to. A little more. I feel like it's not doing anything. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing there. What am I tensioning on?
At least when you work on the car, Tim, you have the very appropriate headwear on.
And shirt.
That's true.
Yeah, Tim, you dress good, man. Where do you get that stuff from? What's the website called, Tim?
Because race car.
Tim, where do you get that gear from? What website's it called?
No, Tim doesn't vape, for the record.
Plug the website, Tim. I know you're busy right now.
ShopDDE.com, Tim.
Thanks, Mike.
Sheesh.
Wow.
Tim can't hold a pry bar and
focusing.
focus.
My
at the
job's
same
to not get in the way.
All of a sudden,
Someone's gonna stay out of the way. All right, how are we doing, buddy?
All right, so
Got that bolt in there?
And there, get a little closer.
Yeah.
There we go.
Why are you so close?
I'm not close.
Get in there. Get in there.
This is YouTube, Tim. If we're out in the way, you guys don't see anything. Okay, guys. So right now they're just changing a bolt. Yeah, that's really good stuff. Oh, by the way, I need to change a bolt. I got one in my pocket. It's bent. That's from the axle of the 599. So many horsepower, it bent the actual bolt on the axle. Look at that. That's horsepower right there on the axle of the 599.
Wow.
Your dad looks happy right now. Do you want to see your dad look not happy? Watch
Yeah.
this. Ready? Ding, 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 ding. Okay.
All right, the moment of truth. I got the car down on the ground. We bled the power steering system, basically turned the pump on, added fluid, and got all the air out of the system. Now it's on the ground, so I can see if it actually works. So I'm gonna turn the power on here. All right, and then hit the ignition. Pump is on. Oh, there we go. Whew, we got some power steering now. You can actually turn the wheel with 2 fingers. You don't need 2 full hands to get this thing to move while it's sitting still. It was not like that before. All right, well, I'm gonna pull this car out and just do a couple figure eights, nice and slow, just to make sure the steering doesn't have any binding or anything. Now that I can actually feel what's going on. And at that point, we're good to load this thing up and get it ready to go to the dyno tomorrow. Big steps, big progress.
All right, ignition. Start it up. Yep, we need to work on that cold start. So it's a little too lean. It's pretty common with ethanol.
But when it starts, man, it's a monster.
Look at that. Man, the throttle is touchy. All right, I'm gonna let it warm up a little bit.
All right, well, it's all warmed up now. Obviously, it still has some drivability issues. Like I said, the mapping is not at all tuned. It's very much a base map still. So during the warm-up cycle, when it's above 100 degrees but below like 150, it's pretty choppy. I'm not looking at the data right now because it doesn't really matter. So I think it's running pretty rich throughout that stage in the warm-up, but it's all going to be tuned tomorrow on the dyno. And I'll leave that to the expert, Shane, who will dial this thing in. I'm hoping that in that one day of the dyno session, we can get everything sorted. He's obviously already got a bunch of stuff in the dash programmed, in the ECU programmed, in the PDMs programmed. Just as I say that, the fans kicked on. So the fans are running. It's at 174 degrees. Looking pretty good. We see a little vapor coming out of the catch tank, as it should. Like I said, with the ethanol, it creates a lot of moisture, not only in the exhaust, but in the cylinders, in the combustion chamber. So that means that some of that moisture is getting past the rings and going into the oil. So as the oil heats up, that ethanol and water will start to evaporate and come out of the catch tank. So we have it routed up at the top of the engine to the valve covers, and then it goes into the radium catch tank right there. And then we also have another line that goes from the dry sump tank into there as well. And this is vented on the top. So if you can see, yeah, well, it's not really coming through on the video, but there's some vapor coming out of there. So it's doing its job. It's working as it should. Also, that tank has a drain on the bottom, so we can drain it out, because you will get a couple capfuls of moisture in there after running the car. That's a normal thing. That's a good thing. That means it's separating it from the oil and moving it into the catch tank, because you want to have your oil be oil and not have it mixed with ethanol or water, which makes the oil not work as it should. So everything's looking good. We're going to get stuff ready. Like I said, we're gonna fill up a bunch of fuel in jugs, bring some tools with us, and yeah, just get this thing on the trailer, strap it on down. As I'm looking at this, I see a leak, water leak. But that's okay, because that's from the catch tank. So I filled the catch tank up a lot, and obviously the swirl tank also, and as it heats up, the water expands, starts pushing some out. That's good. I want that to happen because I want that level as high as possible, and then it'll just spit out any excess like I just spit right now. But all right, let me check on this thing. It's kind of hot out here anyway. I'm gonna take my sweatshirt off.
All right, Tim, what's happening?
So I'm going to take the suspension off of Dave's car, and then I'm going to try to get these coilovers on Damon's car before, well, we have a holiday this weekend.
Yes,
So,
it is Thanksgiving.
Week. So obviously we won't be here on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So that cuts a day out. But so are you going to take these off and then take them over to
I think so because
The body shop?
I think so because Damon said that his car won't be done till Thursday, and he'll be back Monday, and I'll be out of town on Thanksgiving, so
Yeah.
I won't be back until Monday.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to get this done ASAP.
Okay. And Damon's car is not here, so obviously you're gonna have to go to the body shop.
Yeah, but
That always makes it more complicated, but yeah.
It seems pretty simple, at least the rear. My one concern is this line because it has a hydraulic lift.
Yes.
So
that I think we just take off and leave off for now.
okay.
Because running all of those lines over at the body shop and installing that tank and everything, that took us at least an entire day to do
Oh,
in the shop with all of our tools.
You did most of it, so that's what I was concerned about.
Yeah.
I didn't know how it was wired. I didn't know how it was really mounted back there.
It's a bit of work.
Okay.
For sure. But taking these coilovers off of this car and bolting them directly on, the
That's
ride
simple.
height and everything is already set,
Yep.
then yeah, we'll be good to go. And we know, like this car right now, there's a wire or something that came off of the lift
And that's why it's not working.
and it's not working, and we're still driving the car around. So it's not like it is insanely slammed to where you can't even get up a driveway. It's fine. And honestly, like looking at the front, don't mind this. that was already there.
Damon's car will have a splitter though.
Yeah, but Damon knows how to drive lower cars. That's a good thing. Dave, on the other hand, it's questionable. Sometimes he just jumps in and thinks it's his Ram, whatever that truck was that he got, the TRX. He just hits driveways straight on, and you see sparks coming off, and Dave's grin. So working on that, and then I'm also working on Mia's car. Plans have changed a little bit. It's actually going to go to get inspected. So it has to go up to Canada to get inspected, to get licensed. And to do that, I have to bolt all the parts on properly. We were planning on having it wrapped first and then sending it up, but because of scheduling, that's not going to happen. So it's going to go up to Canada. It's leaving tomorrow. And that means I have to get everything buttoned up and working properly so it will actually pass the inspection. So I'm going to have to make or go to a Porsche dealer to buy the latch for that. Finding a GT3 RS trunk latch today might be a little bit difficult, but this is Southern California, so maybe a dealer around here has one. If not, I'll have to make something to bolt it on there, which obviously I can do. It'll just take an hour or two. And then I gotta bolt the grills and everything into the bumper because the grills actually hold those lights in place. So we got the center grill and we have the side grills. Now the side grills are what hold those lights in. Obviously those need to be there because there are running lights, turn signals, and all that other stuff. So I'm gonna get working on that, and we probably won't even put the little flare pieces on because they do have the double-sided tape on them, and once I stick them onto the fender to wrap it properly, they're gonna have to come back off. Wrap's gonna go underneath, and then those will go on top. So I don't want to peel that off, stick them on the car now, and then have to rip it off and spend all that extra time like peeling and scraping, cutting it off with a razor blade to try to get that double-sided tape off because it is a very high bonding double-sided tape. So that's why I won't have flares.
All right, so here are the parts that we were missing. So we've got the grill that goes into that spot, and then we have this screen that goes onto the grill. This isn't a street car part, this is the race car part. So to just sit here and get sandwiched in between there to be held in place. But this has the provision for the headlights or the running light, fog light thing. So those will actually bolt on onto this piece. So you need this to be able to fasten those lights to. Without that, there's just nothing over there to make that connection.
So this just snaps in. Is there any glue or anything that goes behind it?
No, it's all snap in. Maybe a screw. There's like a spot for a fastener right up there.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
From there. But in all the like the 997s and 996s, it's literally just snap in to the little grooves, and it's pretty easy.
That's pretty cool. I want to see how well it fits. It's all factory, so it should fit.
Yeah. This is an OEM Porsche GT3 Cup front bumper, and these are original Porsche parts. So it will
All snap together and should all fit perfectly.
What a difference some grills and the lights make in this bumper. Now it looks proper.
So I can bolt this back on the car, but before I do that, I have to actually remove some parts from the car because we still didn't get the proper radiator ducts. So these guys are gonna have to come off for now because they have a different shape completely. They stick out a little bit more in the middle here, and they're not gonna allow the grill to come all the way back, basically the bumper. So it has this kind of groove here where that duct needs to go. And since these are different and have a completely different shape, those won't work. So I'm gonna pop those off. Also, I noticed that there is a ton of debris in here. So while I get that off, I will clean those radiators out as well. And obviously, this is just gonna go up. It's gonna get inspected. It's not gonna be driven anyway. It's winter right now, it's colder. But if it was the summer and we didn't have those ducts, one thing, the air would just come in there and there'd be a ton of turbulence and probably push the bumper out and make it do weird things on the side. But also, we wouldn't have good cooling. So all the air that comes through that grill would be going around the radiator rather than through the radiator, because the radiator is obviously a restriction. So those ducts are very important. But for what we're doing right now, it's okay. It's just so we can put the bumper back on with all of the lights so that it passes the inspection. And then it's gonna come back apart again to get wrapped when it gets back down here, I believe. So I'm gonna pop those ducts off now, put the radiator back on. Oh, sorry, the bumper back on. The radiators are gonna stay. I'm not messing with those.
Well, there we go. This is ready to go. We actually left the hood pins off and just put the stock latch on there so we don't have to worry about somebody leaving a hood pin off when it's getting inspected or transported. And the bumper's all bolted up. We got all the lights on there. Ready to go. Tim, how's it going over there?
Good, I got all the coilovers out there.
So coilovers have been removed. And you're gonna take them over now to the body shop?
I think so. Scheduling wise, it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna bring them over, pop them in real quick. I won't stories it because the car is done, basically. So there's no way I can really show you guys without revealing the car. So I don't want to do
I think
that.
you already revealed the car.
Did he?
I think you did.
There's so many videos that come out, guys. And honestly, we don't watch every single one of them. We watch quite a few of them, but sometimes we wake up in the morning, we get ready, we drive to work, which for me is about a 45-minute drive. For Tim is like 6 days. Like, it's ridiculous. And then we get here and we work all day. And obviously we're filming all the content, so we know what's going on for the most part, except if it's a video where it's Damon and Dave doing something and we're not involved in it. Then sometimes I'll watch a video and go like, oh, I didn't know that was going on. So we're all so busy all the time.
There's just so much content and we have a lot going on ourselves that it's very hard to watch every single minute of everything.
Yeah, exactly. So luckily you guys get the 30-minute version of what's going on because we're here all day, every day, basically. I'm not saying that in like complaining way. We're obviously here doing what we love to do, having fun. But at the same time, watching what we just did yesterday or the day before every day just doesn't really make a lot of sense when we have other things to do. So anyway, enough of that ramble. Tim is going to take
These KW shocks and the rears over there.
I also hurt the same thumb. This is the second coilover I've installed in the same 6 days, I guess. And this second injury on the same thumb.
So it's not a thumbs up from Tim, actually. It's a thumbs down at the moment. But you're bandaged up and you're ready to go.
Yes.
All right, well, have fun over there. Get these bad boys put on. And I guess you'll just bring the other ones back here so we can throw them on Dave's car.
I think that's the plan.
Yeah, that.
Unless
I mean,
something
it has to
changes.
be. No, let's get them back and put them on here. So this car is actually a roller. We still have to do the power steering pump stuff because obviously we stole the pump to put on that car, and this car will put back to stock as far as the steering goes. So it will be operational again very soon.